Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Get Good Season 7 here. An exciting set of matches down there in the rookie division, ushering us into another exciting clash in the advanced division. I am Corbeck, joined by Dividing with DeLuca and Myth handling our production. And we have a match coming up between SH Bonkers and Helpdesk Hogan. And what can we expect from these two teams, Dividing?
Yeah, I actually casted over Bonkers last week during their game against, I believe the team was Dirt, and I was actually very impressed with them. They ended up winning 3-1 in that matchup. They seem to be a very good overall team, a very well-rounded team, a team that sort of like to play a lot of brawly comps and really excelled through their team synergy rather than the individual performance of any particular player. This is, of course, another battle of the undefeateds, as Bonkers is going up today against Helpdesk Hogan, a team that I don't know all too much about, but a team that obviously must be very talented because they've gone to this point also without losing a game so far.
Very true. And there you can have a look at the rosters for these teams. Death and Taxes, Let Melon, Arsenic, Okeanos, Key Gaming, and Slow Key there, rounding out the roster for Bonkers. And on the other side, Rose, Doom Black, Nacho, Bend Over, Spaghetti, and Billy Hunter 69 there on Helpdesk Hogan. So a matchup again, like you said, between undefeated teams, and it'll be a bit of a challenge for one of them to emerge here with that undefeated record still maintained. Our first map for the night will be Lijiang Tower, which I believe is the favorite map in the pool when it comes to control from Helpdesk Hogan. Not so with SH Bonkers. They actually prefer Busan, so maybe starting off on a little bit of a rough foot for them.
Maybe a little bit. What I can say about Bonkers as I look at their starting lineup is that when I casted them last time, they had sort of a duo of off tanks. They had Okeanos, and then they also had Doc Dangles. And when Okeanos was in, it usually meant they wanted to play more Zarya. He's kind of the Zarya guy. Maybe they want to make sure they have that Zarya specialist for when Control Center pops up. When Doc Dangles comes in, tends to be a little more favored toward D.Va. So just a little bit of insight into what maybe we can expect from Bonkers. But of course, who knows what we're going to see from Helpdesk Hogan, though. I'm actually really excited to see this new team.
Right, it'll be my first time watching them play as well, so it will certainly be something to see them come crashing out here onto this Lijiang map, and we'll get a look at what we're going for first. I believe it is set to the Lunar New Year's skin. That is just a problem that I think we've been having with observing, right, or with maps in general. They've been bugging out or something, so we are doing, and you might see later on in the match maybe some other festive themed versions of maps coming in, not necessarily by choice, but it is the way it is. At least it's well illuminated, and you've got fireworks too, Dividing. So that's fun.
We are feeling festive today.
Going
back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
Overwatch anniversary, going back a little bit of time to the Lunar New Year, Lunar New Year patch. So lots of fun here as the initial team selections come in. As we see, looks like Bonkers is going to be going with a sort of dive-y comp. I imagine Death and Taxes might use the Symmetra TP to get his team out of spawn and then keep and then stick on it, probably, considering what the rest of his team is running. Meanwhile, a little more brawly coming out from you can call it Helpdesk Hogan. But I'm actually really excited to see this Pharah duel come out between Yoshi and Let Melon.
Yeah, that will probably be the telling matchup here between the two of them, and Yoshi's not even really taking the engage, immediately going around the other side. You can see those fireworks firing off already, but all the fireworks here concentrated on the far side of point. Arsenic just getting a little memento there on it, holding on, but an unfortunate death, meanwhile, for Death and Taxes. Everybody has to pay their due, I guess. Koa and she will not be able to stay on the map. Really gets taken down early on, and Yoshi now with a little bit more free reign on the site, doing a little bit of cleaning up of their own. Rose getting in on the action, gets one down as well, and it does look like, at least on this initial break, it will be Helpdesk Hogan who will take the win here. Ooh, that's a nasty little
Yeah, really nice stuff from Rose. Death is inevitable, and that includes for Death and Taxes. It does not escape him too, just because he named himself the two inevitabilities of life. He will, unfortunately, losing that Tracer is actually really unfortunate for this comp. That really relies on Death and Taxes being able to get into the back and sort of distract the attention of the tanks and supports while the rest of his team can kind of dive in, getting very low once again, but manages to recall out. Oh, Bully Hunter.
Bully Hunter. He got big ambitions there, and well, his team came crashing down there. It still got the boop though, so a trade of supports, and then DPS taking out of action. Rose there jumping on the unfortunate Death and Taxes, who is not having the best start to this game, and well, that'll force Bonkers to back up a little bit here, dividing and just reset.
Yeah, I think if you're Bully Hunter, you definitely take that. Coming up from Let Melon. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this as the fight's continuing very quickly.
Okeanos there pushing in, does get stuck, loses the mech. A bomb coming out is actually what cost Okeanos their life. That was a weak gameplay right there, but Rose getting clapped out. Cohen tries to turn around and he's delayed for a little while, then pushed back to the right hand section by Let Melon, who's really starting to come into their own here.
Yeah, Let Melon, a very, very impressive projectile DPS player. I remember seeing his plays quite a bit in that last game, and he now has a duplicate available. Be very interesting to see what he goes with. Of course, the Reinhardt, obviously a very popular pick in this sort of comp. He could also potentially go for a Tracer to try and rain in some pulse bombs. Maybe even go for the Diva, because there's a lot of space now that could come out of those bombs, but no, he will decide to go with Reinhardt.
Yoshi drops in barrage there. Speaking of bombs, does manage to take Arsenic down. The clone comes out, but is immediately negated by Nacho on the front line. Bully Hunter even getting on the action as well, so they did a pretty good job there of sweeping the point clean. The unfortunate Death and Tax is sort of the last man standing right there to try and contest. And they're going to be hard-pressed to get back on in time dividing. That 85% number is a big milestone to get.
Yeah, unfortunately, what I think Bonkers didn't quite take into account was that when Let Melon duplicated onto the Reinhardt, there really wasn't much that the team could do except for maybe Okeanos' D Matrix to counter Yoshi and his barrage.
Oh, Rose here waiting, lurking, trying to find the opportunity, throws the pulse bomb in, it gets eaten. There's a great play there from Okeanos, but oh, it's not really enough to make up for what's happening all over the place, but Coco mate was just getting in there and absolutely cleaning house on that Diva to secure them the victory, and a bit of a crushing performance, at least to start, from Helpdesk Hogan.
Yeah, Scott Mellon is getting sort of abused a little bit on this Ana. Obviously, dive and poke target all the way when it comes to that's just the life of an Ana right now. But dying before he could use his nano boost on someone to keep them alive or help his team aggress really does suck. So that's unfortunate. Now I'm really curious to see if Bonkers is gonna stick on this Lucio Zen comp. Because if so, that is not much healing. They'll go ahead and go with the Mercy. That's still not much healing though.
Yeah, I don't know. Boy, I don't know about that. That's pretty bold. I mean, you can play this 100%. It's very pick-oriented, but it's going to be a bit rough. And Scott Mellons was already having a little bit of a hard time in the back line. Might even be harder now. Yoshi taking some initial damage right there, but he's just trying to sneak around behind the enemy team. Great flash, great fan there. Arsenic does go down, but meanwhile, Scott Mellons has fallen off the edge of the map and seems to be a clinical issue here with SH Bonkers. I don't quite understand why it keeps happening. But in the gap left with that loss of the support, they'll try and do some serious work here on point. Helpdesk Hogan takes the initial capture and tries to double down on that as well. They're keeping a healthy eye on Death and Taxes in the back line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why SH Bonkers just seems to love the edge of the map right now and just keeps getting knocked off of it, but this keeps happening, and unfortunately, a pretty late stag coming out on the Death and Taxes is going to delay this next push by quite a bit as they wait to come back. Death and Taxes is going to swap onto the McCree, some more consistent damage coming out there. I'm still a little worried about this comp, though, from Bonkers. It just feels like they don't really have anything to sort of peel. As, yeah, Death and Taxes gets caught out, goes down again, and the shatter, I think, no, it wasn't a shatter. I saw the stun marks, but I think it was just a really good flash thing from Yoshi.
Yeah, just surged forward right there. It didn't really matter. They didn't even have to use any ults to clear the deck, and they will do so in fine fashion. Now pushed up to the main doors and just holding the lobby there. Yoshi does have this high noon in the pocket as well. Thinks about using it on the outside flank, but might hold off on it. The fight now being focused back around on the doors, but it's Rose just trying to sneak in for a kill, and there's nobody checking for this particular flank. The pulse bomb comes in the middle, it's stuck on the shield, it forces the immortality field out. Fortunately, no one died there for Bonkers, but it was very dangerous indeed. The bomb comes sailing out, and Nacho will use that opportunity to take out Death and Taxes. Arsenic tries to stand on the front line and protect his team as they get back to spawn doors, but it's not a lot. And this is turning into a pure stomping. There's still plenty of ults to play with here, Dividing.
Yeah, this is getting really ugly really fast for SH Bonkers. They are looking really stuck right now, and the more fights that Helpdesk wins, the more ults they bring up, and another shatter from Nacho lands. That might just seal the deal here.
Nacho just clobbering on the front line, and Akanos just trying to turn this one around, but I mean, what can one diva do against so great a fury on the front line? And that will signal the end of that, and Helpdesk Hogan taking no prisoners here on this Lijiang Tower map.
Yeah, absolutely not. Helpdesk Hogan, I mean, I think asserted their dominance very well with the help of this man right here, Yoshi. I think very much dominated the DPS matchup today. Yeah, that must have been the stun that I saw on the that stunned so many people that I thought it was a shatter for a second. Like that's just crazy McCree play coming out from Yoshi. Get very aggressive, but also knows when to be aggressive, which is the mark of a really great McCree player.
Oh, indeed, and apparently it is just Yosh, not Yoshi.
Oh, really?
I guess it's Yosh is 8. I'm guessing. I don't know. But it's Yosh. We apologize.
Why not call yourself
that.
Yoshi? That's like the best Mario character.
He's listening to that Genji voice line. Doesn't he say Yosh like over and over again? He certainly does when he's jumping on me in the back line. But anyway, I digress. Yes, a strong performance there from Helpdesk Hogan. They didn't ever really seem too particularly fussed throughout that map. And really now things being pushed back onto Bonkers, they're the ones who are going to have to figure out how to play out of this, because that was not a great start. They did not come out the gate running.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter what Bonkers played. They tried all sorts of different comps, all sorts of different strategies, but no matter what they did, Helpdesk Hogan seemed prepared. They kept control of the overall tempo. I think Nacho did a really great job of controlling things up front. Arsenic and Okeanos had a very tough time dealing with them. So Bonkers is going to go ahead and pick Blizzard World as our next match, as our next map pick. I want to say Blizzard World definitely has the potential for a lot of different kinds of spam comps.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of opportunities to catch people out on long sight lines on high grounds. Maybe that's what Bonkers is looking for here.
Maybe. I mean, I like a good Blizzard World. It's actually, at least aesthetically, one of my favorite maps in the game. So I know that it doesn't hold that popularity across everyone, so which is perfectly fine, but it always makes for a bit of an entertaining game, at least in my opinion. And as a long-term Blizzard fan, well, you can't help but like it just a little bit, right? It'll be interesting to see the adaptation that will have to come out of here for Bonkers, right? Because they have to change something. Something is not working fundamentally in their gameplay, and whether that's maybe looking at how they're playing the tanks on the front line, maybe trying to open up more opportunities for their DPS. Something that they could benefit from, I think, almost immediately, Dividing, is just watching their flanks a little bit more carefully, because we saw, I think, multiple times throughout Lijiang, times in which one or two players would really, namely Rose and Yosh, right, would really get some brutal kind of flanking action in there and just make absolute mincemeat of anybody who they managed to catch their sights on.
Yeah, absolutely. Bonkers definitely needs to be watching their six as it was. I think in the last game that I saw, they didn't really have to worry about that too much, but this time I think they're going up against players who definitely love to get flanks, and they got a lot of value out of that. However, that is pretty easily fixable and counterable if you're ready for it. And I hope Bonkers is able to do that. As I want to mention, several swaps coming in. On the side of Helpdesk Hogan, we have Doom Black coming in for Yosh. And then for Bonkers, Vibin is going to be coming in instead of Death and Taxes. And then Slow King will be coming in for Scott Mellons.
Yeah, some swaps coming in there, and maybe necessary for them to change up their game plan a little bit. I don't think it was the best map for Death and Taxes. I don't want to rag on him too much, but he was both him, ironically, or maybe maybe there's a him and Scott Mellons were, I think, the ones who went off the edge of the map. So both of them getting subbed out here. I don't know if there's correlation doesn't imply causation to fighting, but aliens, right?
You get fall off the match, you fall off the starting roster. I don't know. And there might be some correlation there.
Pay cut right there every time you fall off the map.
I do want to point out that on the team sheet, Vibin's listed signature hero is Widowmaker, so we might be able to see some long-range hit scan coming out. I think there's a lot of opportunities to get value with that on this map.
Oh, for sure. Widowmaker can ply her trade quite well on Blizzard World, so a very good potentiality added to the lineup right there. And well, it'll have to be something good here, because all the advantage currently favoring Helpdesk Hogan. They've got the momentum, they've got the score line, they kind of had the better of the play here as well. But Vibin not showing us the Widowmaker, they are showing us the McCree. Instead, Let Melon will be playing on the Hanzo. So yeah, some changes coming in here, but yet to see if they're going to be significant.
Yeah, Slow King going in on the Ana as well instead of the much more popular Baptiste. So Key Gaming's got to be really on making sure that he can help dissuade any flanks from Rose or Doom Black to try and get to his Ana. As well as the fact that as long as Bonkers sticks with this, they will be playing Bully Hunter, having some fun there on the point. But they will be playing the sort of slower paced brawl comp that will rely on making sure that they can kind of whittle down the enemy shields and the enemy utility with their superior damage.
Indeed, it is true, and Let Melon already trying to take a bit of an initial engagement here, firing a cover of dulcitory arrows up towards the top deck, but the rest of the team committing hard onto the front line. Here comes Bonkers, and the initial kill will find Doom Black on the flank. He will go down. A great anti-nade coming in here as well. Let Melon is the guts of the enemy team, looking for picks and finding them. Arsenic getting bullied right there, but really the only last gasp of a team that's otherwise getting rocked, and Key Gaming putting the nail in the coffin right there with a melee kill on Goen.
I question the Ana, I question the Hanzo, and those two heroes ended up being the two difference makers there for Bonkers. Beautiful opening pick from Let Melon, getting that nice... Oh, man, Doom Black actually slept in the back here. Potential for a stagger. It seems Key Gaming is going to go up and give it a try. But Soldier 76 is a slippery one. And Doom Black actually in the back finds Let Melon, so all of a sudden there's an opening here for Helpdesk.
Well, the hunter becomes the hunted right there. I don't think they quite expected Doom Black to turn around and get that one, but they should have watched Rambo. Old Soldier, you gotta watch out for him. Out comes the high noon, he gets hammered. Doing get roped, cannot get it off. Nacho not able to do anything to keep the rest of his team alive, and despite the amplification matrix coming down, wholesale slaughter on the cart. Coco Mate, the last one to go, and that will clear their pathway forward. Koan gets one cheeky pick and pays for it with their life.
Doom Black is sticking on to the Soldier here, and I'm starting to sort of question that pickup, even though he would have managed to get in the back and get the kill. The thing about Soldier is that he's able to do consistent damage, but it's not necessarily a ton of damage. As long as you have a healer on you, it's pretty easy to heal it back up. I just don't see the Soldier getting much value right now. I think it'd be better if he swapped to a more bursty DPS here, or one with more utility.
On there from Coco Mate ushers them up onto the high ground. Unfortunately, they didn't really get much out of it. I think they were hoping that they might be able to trap someone up there. It does not manifest in that way. Doom Black here on the flank once again, getting immediately pressured by the Diva, will fall back just a little bit. Let Melon going down again. Doom Black with a little bit of a personal vendetta, diving throws the high noon. The bomb coming out here as well as the sound barrier. The pressure on the front line increasing immensely. And Arsenic more than happy to just swing for the trenches. Koan can't do anything, just gets absolutely pasted into the wall. And yet again at the end, it's Doom Black trying to make something happen, dividing, and it's always too little too late.
It's always just a little bit too late. This frontline battle that went so handily in favor of Nacho on Lijiang Tower. Now Arsenic seems to be wanting to get his turn. This Reinhardt play coming out from Arsenic is absolutely amazing. Very much winning that sort of frontline duel so far, and I think it's a big reason why Bonkers finds themselves with almost 5 minutes. Black's still in the back here.
Oh my good lord.
With the use of visor too.
He pops the attack visor behind, but fortunately Rose on the front line there with the Engagement Matrix able to get some kills, and Nacho able to get even more. The Fire Strike comes surging through, and if you don't get out of the way of it, you're squishy. Well, the inevitable is all that can happen. They will lose to poor Duke Black. I gotta love the effort on the flanks though as the soldier, but it's sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Let's just put it at that.
Okeanos is going to go ahead and swap to the Zarya coming into this third point, which I do like. I like the superior damage, especially when there isn't as much need to mitigate like big projectiles coming out from the comp of Helpdesk Hogan. But it is Doom Black who gets a nice Helix rocket on the Vibin. I mean, this... I feel like I'm a constant caster curse this map right now, because I questioned it, but this guy has been an assassin.
Yeah, he's definitely been getting some picks. I think he's just been on those kind of free roam flanks every once in a while, and it's been a little bit ineffective. But other than that, I mean, I love the name too. He sounds like the animated mascot of some '80s hair metal band. So I'm all for that. Doom Black with the exclamation point in there as well. The push coming forward from Coco May here, just trying to put a little bit of pressure on him and spawn and maybe maintain some of that charge. Nacho using the shield there for a little bit of scouting. They've come all the way around behind them now and start to push forward. And Bonkers really needs to make something happen with this nano boost onto their Reinhardt. Arsenic just looking for a pick, but instead it's Rose. Rose gets 2. One of them is a flashbang kill. He nearly gets 3, but Nacho on the front line instead cleans up the Reinhardt hammer. Cannot be stopped.
Oh my goodness. Bonkers thought they would be slick, trying to take the behind route to make sure that they wouldn't get, maybe get into Doom Black's territory. Let's get back in this position. That's hilarious. But Rose was like, you know what? That's fine. I'll go ahead and flank on your flank and gets behind, gets 2. That's amazing. But a nice stun and it's to take down Nacho.
Nacho gets whacked right there in the entryway, and Rose follows them into the grave. Doom Black actually running away back up to the high ground that he calls his home, and maybe just trying to fight that guerrilla-style campaign there from the back deck, but it's going to be a bit hard for them to get the quick regroup here. There should be good push on this card, dividing.
Yeah, and a lot of ultimates were used by Helpdesk Hogan there. They're really only going to have Nacho's Shatter going into this next fight, and a beautiful shot from Let Melon is going to allow... Doom Black is just consistently just in this backline here. He's just there.
Doom Black is there. He's the kill on
he's never going to play with this team, man.
Oh, the sound barrier invested here. The high dude's coming out the window and as well, so 3 big ults thrown out right there, but it's Rose who gets the kill. Doom Black finally beats his maker in the form of Let Melon. It's about time somebody put the assassin to bed, but that's okay. Coco Mate surging forward on the front line, and Doom Black has more than done his job in this last fight. Rose gets another kill here, and they'll escort these supports back to the spawn. They throw the grab as well. Okay, why not? Go ahead and invest that. The charge coming out from Nacho. Beautiful bit of observing right there to see the end of his 3K.
It's great. I mean, it's a great play, and it gets staggers. I'm not super sure of that play from Coco Mate. Coco Mate? That's what it says on the sheet. Interesting.
Oh,
Coco Mate.
Not bad.
But I really think that it was probably honestly better for him to hold on to that. I mean, you get staggers, but now the other team knows that you don't have a grab anymore.
Okeanos there getting back in on the action, but it's Doom Black from behind, getting one with the attack visor and opening up some room for Rose. Bully Hunter was already into the action, and Doom Black brings another one.
This guy is hilarious. I love it.
The internal hunter in the back line never can be never count him out. He's always there, and he comes back and 2 kills.
It's funny because with the way Soldier is and doesn't do that much damage like in 1 bit, it seems like Bonkers is just like allowing him to exist in the backline, but that consistent damage is actually making a difference.
Oh, Rose goes for the high noon, but Let Melon with the head on the swivel comes back around, and there's Shatter on the line now from Arsenic, who's going to use that to maximum advantage. They are in overtime now. The card is pushing forward. Vibin does have this high noon in the pocket should they choose to use it. They'll push right up here towards the doors, try and block them into these kind of choke routes, such as it were. Amplification Matrix coming out of the left-hand side. Vibin pops the high noon. They don't even need to use it. They did an effective job of zoning them out right there, and they will complete, though, with 0 in the time bank.
Beautiful zoning job coming out there from Bonkers. First it was the Amp Matrix from Slow King that cut off one direction to go, and then it was the high noon from Vibin that cut off the other end. There was no way that anyone from Helpdesk Hogan could try and touch the cart, or else it would be instant death. So honestly, beautiful stuff from Bonkers there to close out this attack. It was done in overtime though, so there's definitely plenty of opportunity for Helpdesk Hogan.
Indeed, there is plenty of opportunity here. I mean, they did a good job of stalling them out. After that, the first point was a little bit rough, but they really came into their own there on the third. And made quite a good job of stalling that out and holding that for a long time. Now we see Coco Mate here with that Zarya pick again. Rose and Doomblock sticking with that double hit scan pairing. Meanwhile, Vibin has switched over to the ISHI, which makes sense, I guess, for a character who's or for a player whose favorite character is Widowmaker. Presumably, we'll be seeing some solid sniper action coming out of there with the key gaming pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this long-range hit scan sniper sort of thing makes a lot more sense on the defense. There's a lot of high ground you can take advantage of if you're reviving. There's a lot of opportunity to get some range damage with the dynamite. So really good stuff. Looking forward to seeing some sniper play come out from Vibin as we'll see his first challenger, which is Doomblack.
Black. You can't be avoided, mate. They'll fall back there. Vibin just rolls off the high ground, gets back to the point. The aggression coming on fast and furious here, though, from Hogan Helpdesk. They are wasting no time at all. Or, sorry, Helpdesk Hogan, my bad. It's those H words. You get them so easily confused. They're holding up here by the planter. I think just recouping their health before they'll go back in. Nacho really wants to force that corner, but they're going to use that Lucio speed boost to get him around the other side. Still, they can't seem to coalesce on a target. It will be Doomblack who dies first, and that'll force them back to those bushes where they will wait again and get healed up one more time. And are they going to commit without Doomblack? They are, because Vibin gets caught out by Rose. Nacho gets one of the front line. The amplification coming down, almost identical moments. Immortality field out there from Koan, but it does get destroyed right away. Still, they've got room to play with here, and they've got some bright sight lines. And what shots coming out from Rose. Finishes off the Diva mech, and then finishes off the Baby Diva as well. And then Doomblack. Well, I wouldn't expect anything less from the perennial assassin of this team.
Yeah, Doomblack went for one of those signature flanks once again. Look at him go. He's on his way once again. No, actually decides against it. But got caught out, and I think the members of Bonkers were kind of assuming, well, that was it. Well, we got the flanker, so now we can focus on the 5, and a couple members of the team got caught out by the 5v5 fight. It's kind of the same thing that we saw last game, where even if Doomblack isn't getting any kills, he is getting their attention, which is almost as valuable.
That is exactly true, and I think that's actually mainly the value he's contributing. Dragon's coming out, though, and Rose gets caught looking. That's unfortunate right there, but the grab in return, are they able to really make anything out of that? No, they are not. The location that it was in, including the immortality field, really prevented them from doing too much with it. Nacho tries to capitalize, and the team will be there. Coco Mate will get one more at the back end of it, will die to the Bob there at the tail end, and a bit of an inconsequential fight on the high ground, but look who's still here. It's Doomblack with the tag visor. Doomblack he can't be stopped. My God, he's like some monster out of myth and legend. The least time you would expect him, he pops up and just plagues you with bullets and rockets.
I love this guy. This guy's great. I'm gonna do everything he does in comp from now on. This just seems like the most fun way to play Overwatch. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Seems to be working for him.
I'm not happy, but the rest of them will. The amplification matrix coming out here. They'll point damage straight down range, right into the gut. The sound barrier being invested in here in a dangerous position there for Key, who has to drop down low and get out of danger very quickly. Nacho, however, will not survive. Drops his shield in the face of that Diva Bomb and pays for it with his life. Coco Mate there just trying to get out of this alive. A fire strike thrown rather petulantly there down towards the stop signs or the signpost. We'll get a little bit of ult charge there for Arsenic at the end.
Yeah, Helpdesk Hogan there didn't really give the Ant Matrix and Slowking the respect that it deserved. Still kind of kept on fighting and brawling in that area, pretty much right in front of it. Unfortunately, that did allow Let Melon to get some really nice shots through that Ant Matrix and really chunk down the healers. So, good stuff there from from Bonkers as they do manage to stabilize. But oh man, the Zarya of all people picks off Key Gaming.
We are getting a little bit of stagger here on the stream, so we do apologize if things are a little bit awkward, but Doom Black there taking some damage, falls back almost immediately. Rose, though, with a great kill there on the Let Melon. That's both his CPS down, and Doom Black finds Baptiste as well, so they're cleaning up here, and they should be able to complete the second point, and they've got a decent time bank here going into point 3, 4 minutes on the clock to really make something happen.
Oh, now look at this. Vibin has decided to take up the mirror from Doom Black. He's going to go onto a soldier of his own. Seems, okay, I think I can do better. Doom Black, of course, will not be phased in the slightest. I don't think anything can intimidate this guy.
I don't know either, to be honest, at this point in time. It's some crazy gameplay, to be sure, but they continue to fight here around this ruined pillar. They do come up here, and they do get the cart through without any problems, so there won't be that kind of stall we saw last time. Well, Amplification Matrix literally hugging each other right there on the corner, and Nacho, the unfortunate first victim, but Doom Black trying to turn the corner, and Vibin shuts that down right away. Won't be hearing any about it. The reign of the Dark Lord here might be coming to an end.
Yeah, Nacho just got melted by the M Matrix there, and because your big shield goes down before their big shield, that means Doom Black is forced to try and strafe around the shield to get value out of his attack visor, and that just doesn't really work very well, obviously, if you don't have a big shield behind. So
Nacho fighting on the front line, but oh no, there's a Diva Bomb in there. He's got just enough shield to block it, which is a little bit fortunate. Doom Black, meanwhile, playing on this flank, does get in a fight with Vibin. Instead, it's Nacho who gets pasted on the front line. Coco Mate also turned into a bit of paste right there, and the pressure on the front line. Vibin barely surviving that duel with Doom Black, but staving off any flank play from the Soldier 76 for now.
Yeah, beautiful shadow coming out from Arsenic in that fight. Stunned up 4, and great aggression coming out from Bonkers to counter it. Now, almost 4 minutes Helpdesk Hogan had going into this third point, and almost half of it is already gone.
Does have the attack visor here. He's immediately going to engage on that back line. Rose, meanwhile, on the front line, trying to make things happen, but just can't really find the space to operate right now. And 2 very solid kills there coming out from Arsenic to escort Helpdesk Hogan back towards their spawn. Coco Mate will continue to press up here, dividing just to get that Zarya ult charge.
I think I actually saw a boop from Key Gaming, who went around the back and booped several members of the team into Let Melon's Dragon Strike, which I thought was just some beautiful gameplay there. As now it is going to be Helpdesk Hogan who's going to be trying to take the sort of flank route and aggress on the back line.
Sound barrier has to be invested here early on. Vibin pops that tack visor, tries to make something happen with it, but really nothing to avail him there. The Immortality Field is taken down early on. Now the ult's starting to stack up here in favor of the attackers. Nacho with the big shatter goes forward. Some spicy nachos right there, but they're not able to finish anything off. Back to the great tank play. The attack visor is popped in response. Doom Black, oh, I think he picks maybe the ulting Lucio out of the air. I'm not entirely sure. He certainly got Key just floating in space, denying that sound barrier and ushering them through with almost 2 minutes left on the clock. A well-played ending to that from Helpdesk Hogan.
Well-played ending from Helpdesk Hogan. Indeed, great aggression from them, great ult usage. Luckily, though, for Bonkers, they did manage to stagger the cart until the time was under a minute, which means they will get another chance to attack here in extra rounds. 1 minute on the clock to potentially get yourself back into this series. You definitely don't want to put yourself in a position to reverse sweep.
No, you certainly do not. And they're going to be hard pressed, I think, to not have that problem. They were doing much better there at the end, I will say, of that third stage. And I think part of that was because they were doing a really good job of shutting down Doomblack on those flanks. And when they didn't have to worry about that pressure coming in from the backside as much, they could do a bit better job of winning those frontline engagements. You really didn't see Rose feasting as much on the front line as they had been on the previous attack. So that was something to take note of. But, I mean, genuinely, both these teams are playing quite well. It's just that Helpdesk Hogan usually has the edge, mostly through kind of these cheeky little picks that they managed to sneak in that just sort of turn fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see Doomblack coming in on the Torb here. He's got the turret set up in a pretty sneaky spot, hoping to get some.
I can love him anymore.
hoping to get himself some good. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really good pick, especially for when you basically need to win one decisive fight to make sure that Bonkers doesn't get any picks on this point. Get that consistent damage from the turret. Plus, if he's good with these four primary fires, it could be absolutely lethal.
Well, they will go for that turret immediately. It does die. Unfortunately, Let Melon finds Rose here. Then Bybin as well. Bullet Hunter gets the resurrection, but it cost them their life. That will pretty much mean disaster here. Arsenic just swinging for the fences as the rest of the team builds up around him. And a great first point push here. 20 seconds still left on the clock as they take point one.
Once again, it is Let Melon, this Hanzo sniper, who manages to open up the point for the first time with the first opening pick. So with that, Bonkers was able to really take advantage of the 5v6 situation that they found themselves in. Now we see sort of a Vibin versus Doomblack 1v1 on the side. We'll see how that develops, probably at some point in the kill feed.
Vibin's been taking notes. He's trying those deep flanks, but Doomblack, he's the master of the flanks, and he will not be denied. No one will overcome on that edge, but a nano-boosted Reinhardt on the front line is more than enough to overcome Nacho, who gets pounded down into the dirt. Rose trying to change the course there. Oh no! Arsenic killed in the midst of the shatter, and that is an ult they will desperately want back. Rose trying to turn the flank here, but it's all Doomblack on the front line trying to make something stick, and Vibin returns the favor on the kill, but it's too little, too late. And that is as far as it will go.
I guess you do what you can in a fight like that, where, you know, we are in overtime, you're trying to push it as far as you can. I think probably would have been better for Arsenic to maybe use the shatter as soon as he got it, I think, while he was nanoed. So just use it as soon as you get it, and make sure you're still in a position to protect the rest of your team. I honestly think that Doomblack winning the 1v1 against Vibin over on the side was actually huge for Helpdesk Hogan to eventually pull out that win. However, for a minute, that's not super terrible. I think that Bonkers will be able to get themselves, of course, they'll have to hold the first point, and then after that, they've pushed it far enough where they can get one more fight, albeit probably it'll be a bit rushed.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I agree with you right there. I mean, getting through that first point alone is an impressive thing to do in overtime. A lot of teams would not be able to do that, so they've kind of cleared that hurdle, and they've gotten a little bit out of the gateway, so they've given themselves a choke that they can protect here as well. They're going to be a bit hard pressed here, though. I say that Doomblack is coming out on the Tracer, so a dedicated flanker this time, and I wonder if they're going to struggle just a little bit. Key, we haven't really seen Key put in that direct of a conflict before, and you would assume that that's who Doomblack is going to go through for on that back line.
Yeah, Slow King has got to be pretty much on Key Gaming's hip right now. Make sure that Doomblack does not get the value that he wants on this Zenyatta, whether that's through healing, whether that's through mortality fields, if it comes to that. This comp definitely is currently relying on a Key Gaming's Discord orb, so you cannot lose that Zen early.
Playing up there on the high ground, he's relatively well protected, but Coco Mate here and the rest of the team, they're going to go on the wide flank. They do have Bully Hunter speed boost to help them here as well. They'll charge up onto that high ground, just take it away from their opponents. They'll force them off the point, but Rose dies first, and Rose has been a little bit quiet in these last couple of fights and has been causing noticeable differences in play here. Nacho taking some serious damage to her face with his Doomblack, and Coco Mate who go down early on, and Nacho tries to turn the fight with a charge, but really just mostly academic at that point in time.
That was some beautiful response from Bonkers to that sort of way around the outside flank coming out from Helpdesk Hogan. They tried to get up onto the high ground where the supports were currently stationed, but there was some great response time from those supports to get out of there, even without the Lucio speed boost. Make sure that they were still in the backline, well protected by the tanks, and then, like you mentioned, Rose gets picked off, and without the McCree damage, the fight falls apart. Now, one fight left. Arsenic looking for the shatter to end it. And he gets it!
And what a shatter it was. Huge right where let Melon do more happy to clean up on the back of that, and that should pretty much push this to bed. I don't know that we'll see anyone able to retouch with 8 seconds left on the clock. There will be an effort probably from Bully Hunter, maybe from the Diva. Even Nacho is over on the Winston. But are the jumps going to arrive in time? Yes, just barely. But really not a lot they can do in this sort of a desperation scenario. Not certainly as they lose bodies left, right, and center. You see right there, Nacho get tasted. Koan gets another one of those late game kills, but really nothing. And the power of Doom Black does not avail them. Bonkers takes map number 2.
Yeah, Bonkers comes out on top just barely. I think they really got taken off guard with Doom Black's playstyle, but there were some great adjustments made as the map went on. You saw Doom Black had less and less impact on the overall game, I think, as the map went on. Of course, there was a moment still late in the map where he got free, but the point is to win more often than you lose, of course, and I think by the end of the map, Bonkers was more than prepared to deal with Doom Black's playstyle.
There might be a little bit of an underperformance there, right? Like we saw sort of Rose and Nacho. I mean, Rose had a couple of good moments, but also kind of tapered off there towards the end. We weren't seeing those kind of big plays that were helping them secure the front line. And then the same can really be said of Nacho, who I think was just experiencing a lot of pressure on the front line there. But we will be back. This match is good. Don't go anywhere. Tied 1-1 right now. Join us on the other side of the break for more Get Good action. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Get Good NA Season 7. An exciting matchup here between Helpdesk Hogan and SH Bonkers, currently tied 1-1, coming out of a very interesting Blizzard world. Let's put it to that. Yeah. I'm Korvac, joined here by Dividing. And, well, what do you make of that last map there, Dividing? What did we see these two teams illustrate?
Well, I think, putting it mildly, Doom Black had a very unique style to playing Soldier. He wanted to use the Soldier so that he could get some consistent damage in on the backline, while also being able to get away if Bonkers tried to aggress on him. And we saw it actually got a lot of value on Helpdesk Hogan's first attack. However, Bonkers were able to slowly and gradually adjust to it as the match went on. And of course, as it did, that flanking Soldier got less value, but he kept trying to do it. And because there was less value, that meant that there was actually an extra DPS worth of damage going into Nacho's shield versus Arsenic's. And I think that's why we really saw Arsenic start popping off there at the end, because he just had more opportunity to win that frontline battle.
Indeed, it very much seemed to be the case. So that was what was occurring. Now we are moving on to Rialto. Doom Black has been subbed out for Yoshi's back in now. And on the other side, I think they're basically keeping the lineup they were running with. Key, Slow, all in there. Vibin main. Vibin did a good job of adapting previously to kind of counter out what Doom Black was doing. But Rialto poses some interesting challenges of its own. Do you think we see a significant swap in playstyles here?
Well, Yosh coming back means that we're probably seeing a return to a more traditional style of play from Helpdesk Hogan. And Yosh actually popped off quite a bit in our first map today of Lejean Tower. So I think they're hoping that bringing that player back in, that dedicated sort of hit scan that can make sure that you make sure that you're putting damage into Arsenic's shield, because when it came to Lejean Tower, I think Nacho had very much the advantage in the frontline battle, and I think they're maybe hoping to win that way again.
Right, and we were both saying in the break that we felt like Nacho was under significantly more pressure in that frontline engagement, a lot of Blizzard World, so maybe some changes coming in here that make it a little bit easier for him to sustain himself. And, well, Yosh is coming out already showing us the Pharah, which makes some good sense. We saw Pharah play on Lijiang Tower. It was pretty solid. On the other side, though, Vibin coming out on that favorite hero, Widowmaker, set to make Yosh's life a little bit different.
There's a lot of really interesting kind of hero interactions coming out here that will probably start if Yosh does come out here with the Pharah. Of course, he will have to contend with the Widowmaker and also probably the Echo of Let Melon to get any value. However, if he does, he has a nice juicy target in Key Gaming on the Zen to potentially pick off, and without those Discord orbs, it's going to be a lot of trouble for this comp to get value.
Well, Yosh getting that early look there at Let Melon. Will go up. Don't think they quite know where Vibin is, so they're playing very cautiously here, and that, which is very sensible in this particular circumstance. Rose taking some early damage right there, trying to counter out the flyer on the opposite side. It was a good dynamite there, exposing themselves to those angles of fire, and will actually give us the high ground there. Just back up with the rest of the team, but there's Vibin striking early. Bully Hunter taken out of the sky, and that creates even more problems from Yosh because there's no more healing left, and Nacho just gets rolled on the front line. Arsenic still swinging, not giving up any pressure at all, and they clear this stage all the way up to the bridge.
That was some incredible aggression coming out from Bonkers, starting, of course, off with the pick from Vibin, of course, the favorite hero from this guy, the hit scan, and he picks off Yosh as well, so now has the Firm Mercy duo under his hit list. But unfortunately, Yosh does get res, but they did use that opportunity to take down Nacho, so the picks just continue to come through here from for Bonkers. Both these comps are kind of dedicated around playing slow and trying to put your DPS in the best position possible to get picks, and right now it's Bonkers DPS that are coming out on top.
Arsenic there fighting on the top deck of the Opera House. You'll see Let Melon dropping in around that short wall to just get some damage in as they push up the stairs here. Really struggling to get through the door, and it's a great shatter around the corner there from Arsenic. The Immortality Field and the Amplification Matrix, both of them are going to be thrown up kind of as a counter to that and stop a lot of that aggression on the top deck. But that's some resources invested that they won't quite get back here. Now Rose playing on this backline, he's looking for a cheeky pick, finds one, goes for the other, but Key shuts it down, won't allow that flank to exist for much longer. Yoshi comes over the top, and even though the Diva Bomb is invested, the Transcendence coming out here as Arsenic surges forward quite literally there and cleans up 2 kills. And that should do it for this particular fight, and I don't know if they're going to get another recontest here or not.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could if they wanted to, but it would be really rushed, and they'd be going into 4 ultimates. I think, honestly, just reset here if you're Helpdesk Hogan and try and go again for point C. You do have the Shatter. No, you don't anymore. Your Shatter is dead. Nacho is down, and that will go ahead and kill any chance of a potential recontest coming out from Helpdesk Hogan. 5 minutes on Rialto. This is an incredibly quick pace right now that Bonkers is setting.
Yeah, despite kind of getting a bit of a drubbing there on the first map, really, the reins being grabbed here by SH Bonkers, and they are not letting go. Let Melon firing some spam just downrange, and Vibin has set up here in this little veranda, looking for something. Bob will come out there. Let Melon in trouble. Hello, yo. She gets one cheeky pick off of it. Bob does die for that, but they're more than happy to make that trade. Rose getting in on the action as well will take out the Diva, so they've opened up some space for themselves, and they've stepped the bleeding, at least temporarily here.
Yeah, Let Melon on the ground there just didn't respect the McCree, who could very much pop up behind him, and not again, not respecting the McCree. Key Gaming just walked into that one. A nice flashbang to double headshot coming out there from Yosh, as this McCree really helping them stabilize.
beautiful bit of play coming out right there. Yosh wants another one. He looks for it, but they're wise to his tricks this time. And everybody coming back through the library and up onto the bridge there, just forcing them back a little bit. Nacho trying to play around this. Does have the shatter in pocket. Arsenic on the other side has one as well. Amplification Matrix comes down, and this is not a place they want to be. The clone is coming out here too. Arsenic does die, and the clone is eliminated. The bomb thrown out there, but all it costs is Colin's immortality field. Which is great. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to make. The Transcendence forced out of key there does give them a little bit of room to play with if they want to try and back out and regroup softly. And it looks like that's what they will opt for here. Even as I say that, though, they picked up the fight there for a second, providing a little bit of a argument, I think, about whether or not to give this one up. And, well, they're still going. They've jumped right back into it. Rose does die. Key strikes back. And they are keeping the pressure on, and I think that might finally be the end of it.
Yeah, the recontest was definitely debated among the members of Bonkers, but they did go through with it. And I guess it does help a little bit, the fact that they didn't have any ults going into that fight, and they did force out the Bob from Rose. So that is a nice a zoning ultimate that they no longer have to worry about. Unfortunately, what they do have to worry about is the Shatter, the High Noon, and both support ultimates. All they're gonna have is the bomb, so honestly, I would almost want to take another dry fight here if I'm Bonkers to try and get the ults out.
Well, the Amplification Matrix does come out. Let Melon just kicking out the flank there. The bomb goes sailing into the air from Okanaz. It won't find anyone. It will keep going. The High Noon unleashed from the high ground by Yosh. He doesn't really find anyone with it, but it's okay. Bully Hunter and Rose doing some work on the front lines. Those kills are traded out almost immediately. Nacho here falling perilously low. Will die. Rose again continues this game of trades. Back and forth the teams go. Rose is looking for another one here. Can't quite find it on the Lucio as Bully Hunter finally breaks the cycle, and Rose is trapped in the library and brought down. And the cart will continue, finally, pushing underneath the gate.
Yeah, Helpdesk Hogan used both of their support ultimates really, really early in that fight. And because of that, Bonkers was, oh my gosh, it's a Shatter. Bonkers, you know what, I'm gonna have this over to you.
The Shatter coming back on the other side won't do anything about it. Nacho crushed by Arsenic on the front line, and even Yosh got killed. No, Arsenic just keeps swinging. And on the side of Helpdesk Hogan, they are smelling almonds right now. Very unfortunate for them. They'll continue to push this forward as Let Melon steps up to the plate and fills the void that Arsenic left. It's going to be a quick re-engage here. The High Noon is coming out looking for something they don't even need it.
Nice
1 minute, 22 seconds finished on Rialto, and that's pretty good there, Divining. Again, a very solid time.
That's a solid time. Nice, nice little delays coming out from Helpdesk Hogan, as you know they went into third point with a really good time. Now it's just a pretty good time. So good stuff from them. But back to the fight that I got rudely interrupted by by Bonkers just going in super aggressively. The supports Bully Hunter and Cohen of Helpdesk Hogan's. They used both their support ultimates in that fight super early, and Bonkers did a really good job of kiting around those support ultimates, and once they knew that both of those were out, they were able to come in with a couple ultimates of themselves. The ult bank was very much more even for both sides, and they ended up coming out on top. I think I'm a little worried that maybe Helpdesk Hogan saw the ults they had and thought it was kind of a done deal.
You might very well be right there. I don't think that they played that particularly well up there at the end, and that Shatter from Arsenic really just seemed to catch them on the back foot, almost as if they weren't expecting it. Now coming out on their attack now, and they were showing double snipers there for a second before they went over to this McCree pick. Rose will be sticking with that Widowmaker no matter what. All choice of flyers here just pretty much completely removed. They're not going for any of that.
Yeah, more long-range ground DPS coming out, unless of course Rose decides to use that grapple hook to take to the skies for a moment. Not gonna do that yet though. Just gonna try and take sight of these sight lines. Right now, all that Rose is seeing is shield.
And no yet clear opening for that Widowmaker. They will push forward up to blue corner here and just see if they can get around it. Meanwhile, up on the high ground is Yosh, but unfortunately, Nacho, a site that we're coming increasingly familiar with. He's just absolutely bullied right there, and well, Bully Hunter can't save him from that.
Yeah, and I think this is, again, kind of the DPS choice coming out. The Hanzo from Let Melon versus the Widow from Rose. This allows there to be so much more shield pressure on Nacho instead of Arsenic. And because of that, I mean, obviously, Nacho's shield breaks first, which means Arsenic is able to win the frontline fight.
Yosh here in the pocket. What an anti-nade over the top, and Nacho is just snapped out of existence right there. Coco Mate trades it back, but loses the mech immediately, and the trades do not favor the efforts from Helpdesk Hogan. They are in some serious danger right here, and they are pushed back to their spawn again, so time is a burning.
Time's burning. Bonkers doesn't have the Lucio, so they can't aggress in the same way that Helpdesk Hogan can. However, they know that, and they're playing this sort of slow-ish brawl comp to a T.
They are taking their time, sort of setting up these engagements, and out comes Dragon's on, and you'll see some damage there on the front line. The nano boost being invested in Arsenic on a tear yet again. He loves these little 3K sprees where he just cleans up everyone who stands against him on the front line. That was another iteration of that right there. 2 minutes left on the clock, and Let Melon is rezzed right back into the fight.
Yeah, and Bonkers is doing a fantastic job right now of making sure that they are conserving their ults and making sure that the ult bank is still in their control. They will have 4 ultimates coming up, several ultimates coming up also on the side of Helpdesk Hogan, but the early shatter, Nacho is down.
Arsenic loves those little jump shatters around corner, perfectly illustrated there on blue, but the kills do not follow after it, which is a little bit of a disappointment for him, but still he did a good job at least causing havoc on the side of his opponents. They will rotate around the hotel and come out underneath. The high noon invested here by both McGrees, neither of them picking up much for it. Out comes the Diva Bombs for their respective side, and Coco Mate gets the tank and gets the Mercy as well, and that's as big a bomb as you're going to get at this stage, and they need to capitalize on this like there's no tomorrow.
Coco Mate's bomb absolutely saved that fight. Melon got ticked off early, however, he got rezzed up, and I think that at that point, Bonkers still had the ults to potentially bring this back. That is not what happened, though, and now it is Coco Mate saving this fight. Nacho anti, but what a shatter.
Nacho does a great job of recovering from what could have been a surely disastrous situation. Counterpins Arsenic. And a great bit of play from every member there of Helpdesk Hogan to push it through that final limit on a fight that I genuinely don't know if they should have won, Dividing.
Yeah, I mean, that was some really great team play coming out from Helpdesk Hogan, a team that we've seen kind of play a little more of an individualistic play style up to this point. But I think this shows that they're actually really good at playing these sort of team-based comps as well. And Rose getting a pick off on the key while Arsenic was stunned. That's awesome.
Arsenic goes in for the shatter, but Rose suddenly finding their feet after all this time. Yosh getting in on the action, but it's Rose continuing. The Thorns are real here, and the 2 DPS just drive back the members of Bonkers almost all the way back to the big doors.
And Bonkers is looking a little desperate now. Whenever they get a ult online, they use it immediately, not really thinking about how to best use it in the situation they're in, which means their ult bank is continuously empty. And going into the Dragon and the High Noon, and probably the bomb as well from Helpdesk Hogan, that is not looking great.
Well, one thing they're never short of is nanos. Out with the High Noon comes out on the other side. Yosh needs to be pretty careful here, though. There was some pressure coming in there, but he manages to avoid it. Still on the front line, though, things not going in favor of Helpdesk Hogan. They'll lose multiple members here, and they'll start to back up, but not before Rose gives him a little parting gift. An arrow to the face of Key.
This is an interesting little length of time where Key Gaming is gone, where there isn't really much disengage potential coming out from Bonkers. Potential time for Helpdesk Hogan, but by now Key Gaming is probably back. Shatter from Arsenic is massive, and now the front line duel goes the other way.
It was such a good little bit of play right there. Arsenic jumped around the corner, got the shatter, and Okeanos was throwing in the bomb, but actually got booped or stunned, I'm not sure which, and didn't go all the way in, so that bomb was much less effective than it could be. Kokomate trading theirs out at a much better pace. You'll see the sound barrier being invested here by Key, just trying to keep the team alive. That long charge, though, Arsenic's been on the receiving end of those, couple of those, and not to his benefit. Vibin there trying to turn it around. It's a great high noon. He'll go ahead and try and finish the baby diva as well, but hard to bring down shots on that small of a target, and that'll be a bit unfortunate. They're going to hard re-engage here. The sound barrier is invested. Big shatter coming out of Nacho. Dragons across the point from Rose, splits everybody apart. Nacho and Rose get some well-deserved revenge. And even though Yosh falls, it is not enough for the rest of the team to manage to win that point.
That was some fun microplay coming out from Helpdesk Hogan's. They kind of were on the back foot there at the beginning of that fight because of all of the ultimates that Bonkers was using. They used the high noon, they used the beat, I think they used the bomb early as well. But they were able to bend but not break, fall back, and then hard re-engage with Bully Hunter's beat, and it paid dividends. I don't think that Bonkers was ready.
Well, there comes the Dragon splitting things up again. Kokomate still in baby uniform, kind of got caught out looking there for a second. Another huge shatter from Arsenic, but again, the follow-up just not there. Koan actually did a really good job getting that immortality field down, and Arsenic gets the nano here. Okay, there's the follow-up, there's the kills. Rose, the only one who manages to trade it out, but otherwise it entirely the Bonkers show right there.
I mean, does line up for Arsenic's hammer, I guess. The nano comes through, he charges in, and I don't know if I was just seeing it wrong, but it seemed like so many squishy members of Helpdesk Hogan just kind of walked into the room with him like, yeah, I'll go ahead and for this.
Very true indeed. Arsenic with a hammer, everything starting to look like a nail, and you'll see that amplification matrix thrown out there, but they will quite effectively kite around it. No real problem from that at all. Arsenic continues to rotate back here. Another shatter from Arsenic, and it's Nacho who pays the price that time. Rose tries to turn the tide with the Dragon. That will take Key out. You see the bomb thrown in there as well. Goodbye, Bully Hunter. They'll miss that Lucio in a few seconds. The bomb thrown out here almost petulantly by Kokomate at the end. And another nano committed here to the Reinhardt. My God, they are handing him out for free. And on the back of those plays, Bonkers will pick up their second map of the series.
Some beautiful play from Arsenic on the Reinhardt, absolutely winning. Yeah, of course he gets play of the game. This guy was crazy this map. Absolutely beautiful frontline play, beautiful shatters, nice block there as well. Able to play the defense and the offense. That's Arsenic for you. But I also have to give a good shout out to Slow King, who was playing the Ana there. Felt like almost every fight he had a nano ready for Arsenic, and Arsenic was more than ready to just walk in and W on the team, and Helpdesk Hogan never really had a response for that.
No, very true. And I think to follow up on that, supports were kind of the unsung heroes of that map. I mean, we saw Koan with, I think it was 37% of the team's overall healing, some really critical immortality fields thrown in there to just give her team a chance to continue fighting in what otherwise would have been completely disastrous scenarios. And like you said, on the other side, Slow King just healing out of their mind, getting nanos pretty much every other fight, sometimes even quicker than that. And that you can't really ask for much more out of your Ana player. There were a couple maybe opportunities for sleeps that were missed or anti-nades that could have been a bit better, but genuinely when the chips were down, both the main support players here were coming up really big for their respective teams.
Absolutely. And as we look ahead to map 4, Helpdesk Hogan backs against the wall, we're going to be going to Hanamura, and Doomblack is back in.
Well, I think he's going to struggle a little bit to play the flanking style.
Yeah, I think he's going to be forced to play something mostly traditional, I think.
The tight streets of Hanamura perhaps not lending themselves as well to that legs movement there, but that's okay. It'll be interesting to see what this Hanamura looks like, right? Neither of these teams have shown a particular propensity for what I would say is a spam composition. Unlike our earlier match today where we came over to Hanamura, they've shown a lot of propensity for hit scans. I think both sides have really favored those. They've initially tried some players, never committed. I think a bit of an edge here maybe to Bonkers just because Let Melon on that Hanzo has been so devastating and so effective about getting picks and putting in damage to the shield, really just keeping Nacho under an almost constant aura of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in my opinion, I think that this match has so far very much been defined by the frontline battle between
Yeah.
Nacho and between Arsenic. Whichever Reinhardt seems to be getting the upper hand, that team is most likely winning. And and I'm not saying this is a 1v1 between Nacho and Arsenic. This is a full
No.
team thing. Whichever team manages to pressure down the Reinhardt, get him to low health, get his shield to low health, force him into a position where he can't aggress like he wants to, the other team is often ready to capitalize. Which is why I'm a little concerned to see Doom Black coming in because, like we mentioned, I kind of feel like once Doom Black's flanks were getting repelled, the frontline battle went the way of Bonkers, and that's what eventually ended up losing them Blizzard World.
Very true. Well, I hope that they know something we don't know, right? And that they've put Doom Black in and he's about to show us a hidden talent he has for aggressive frontline DPS play here on Hanamura. Hanamura, those maps that I feel like it's either very fast or it's very slow. There's really no
Yeah.
middle ground here. You either hold that first point for an eternity or you lose it in the first fight. Neither of these teams look fitting to be the kind of team that's going to give it up right after one initial confrontation. But like you said, that frontline battle is going to be absolutely critical and maybe a little bit of an advantage for Nacho here at the start, at least, because he will be starting off on the defense.
Yeah, Doomblack currently coming in and is going to lock the Echo. That can be swapped, of course. He is on the defense, but it might be a bit of a read as we see Let Melon and Key Gaming locking in the Echo Mercy on the other side. Of course, lots of poke damage that can be done with that Echo as the other team tries to approach the choke. Might be seeing an Echo Mercy battle between Let Melon and Key Gaming and Doomblack and Cone. And I'd be down for that.
We might be seeing that indeed, and it'll be fascinating if Doom Black can really make that stick, because you've seen just consistent and solid play from Let Melon all night long. Meanwhile, Nacho playing up here on the front line will have the backup of Coco Mate, so the tank duo remains comfortable here. And, well, there's the answer to that question. Doom Black is already dead. Koan can't even get out to get the res. Rose goes down in the meantime. They do get the res back in, but no, the doors are just busted wide open. The floodgates have popped, and it is just everybody in on this, and that is done.
Yeah, Let Melon winning the 1v1 against Doomblack so quickly, and oh my goodness, okay, here we go. We've got a Symmetra and a Bastion coming out as Helpdesk Hogan is looking to put all or nothing on this strategy to hold second point.
I'm in danger right there, and I think that maybe applies more to Helpdesk Hogan than it does to the attackers. In 6 minutes, they've got to hold on to this, and that is a tall order. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because everything is possible with the power of science, but it's going to be hard indeed, especially when your Bastion has just been split from the rest of the team and can't even get back to your teleporter, and this is not looking good for poor Team Black. Oh, they didn't even get the teleport strategy off. It's just a disaster. Bully Hunter caught jumping in midair by his opposite number, and they will get the res back in, but Coco Mate is already dead. Let Melon all over the place, hasn't cloned, hasn't even had to use it. And this just looks like an absolute collapse on the side of Heartbreak, and more than happy to take advantage of that. Our Bonkers. Helpdesk Hogan cannot reassert themselves at the point. I think I said Heartbreak in there instead of Helpdesk because that's what I was feeling, because they just folded. Oh no.
It was creative. I'll give them that. But oh man, I wanted so bad for that Bastion Symmetra comp to work, because when it does work, it's so beautiful seeing that Bastion just in turret form just switch between the two high grounds, and the other team's always just so confused. But great pressure from Let Melon on the Echo, who I thought would be under the most pressure by this Bastion. Got a lot of damage down, was able to force the Bastion away from that teleporter. And I mean, when the Bastion's out of the fight, that entire strategy just falls apart. So now, with over 5 minutes on the clock, I mean, we got to put something on the board now if you're Helpdesk Hogan, because the match is on the line here.
You got to put a real big something on the board. 5 minutes and 13 seconds. That defense was about as disastrous as you can get right there. Had all the tenor of someone trying to protect a sandcastle from the rising tide. We'll see what they muster coming back into this. Doomblack going onto the Tracer here. Rose will take up that Hanzo. So they've got a little bit of pressure. If they can Doomblack in the backside, they might be able to do something. But Let Melon is performing a trick that we've already seen tonight, but not quite as effective as our previous musician right there.
Yeah, I'm a little worried right now about Let Melon if I'm Helpdesk Hogan's. You've got the Hanzo and the D.Va, which are two sort of soft counters to that flying DPS. You don't really have any hard counters, though, and I think that unless we see some really good shots from Rose, some really good pressure from Kokomate, Let Melon's going to be mostly allowed to do whatever he wants here.
Well, they managed to get in through the front door in relatively fine fashion, and Doomblack is here going hunting in the back line, though certainly they've got a beat on him. Okanaz right there, just not letting him really have any to play with. They'll come into the point and cause some havoc, but not drop in. Nacho trying to pull that front line pressure forward, uses his immortality field, and there's a good boop there from Bully Hunter. And hello, here comes the rest of the squad, and almost as fast as their opponents took it off of them, Helpdesk Hogan secures that first point, and nobody can hold on to that, and thoroughly proved me wrong, Dividing, because both these teams gave it up without much of a fight.
Yeah, well, we saw really good shots from Rose, I guess. Let Melon, I guess maybe got in a little bit too close, tried to get inside the point to try and get in some sticky bombs or something, and Rose was more than ready and willing to get some arrows in his face. Arsenic's Shatter up top, though. It's found 3. The Immortality Cure from Cone comes out to counter that.
Well, they are running out of time to match their opponent's score, but it's a great kill there on Key. Unfortunately, Mercy cannot res herself, so she will be down and out. Nacho now pushing forward, has a Shatter in the pocket. They've caught the Baps. He's looking good. Shatter. The Immortality Field needs to go down. The charge back on the other side pushes the wall, and Nacho doing huge work on the top deck. That D.Va Bomb falling in. Doomblack not able to blink away from it. Kokomate trying to turn this fight around, and you'll see that Lone Warrior there in the form of the Reinhardt. Can they keep Nacho up through all of this, and Koan going out of their mind to maintain this Reinhardt's health? Slowking now just firing shots through this amplification matrix, the only thing that stopped that from turning into a full-blown disaster, but Nacho's still here. Key smacked into a wall, pasted like a bug on a windscreen. They're continuing to go. Okanaz trying to get back in on it. The Shatter throw down. There goes Arsenic. Oh, it's disaster here, and after such a attack, Bonkers is getting beat at their own game. Let Melon comes in to try and secure it. Really, they just don't have the presence. Let Melon is swatted out of the sky like an aberrant fly, and they've turned this around. The High Noon coming out does nothing. Nacho continuing to swing. Doomblack is here as well, and Nacho seals the deal. And it wasn't quite as fast, but it was an absolutely beautiful attack right there.
Not just a beautiful attack, but an attack, a soft reset, and then an attack again. These guys knew that they had gotten several picks off onto Bonkers. And it helped X Hogan. They thought, well, if we can take a second to just regroup a little bit and make sure that they're still in stagger mode, we can probably come out ahead overall. And I think I've never really seen the team do the soft reset before on Hanamura just because of how unbalanced the spawn doors are. But Helpdesk Hogan pulled it off incredibly. And all of a sudden, I mean, we just have about a minute advantage here for Bonkers, which is sizable advantage, but not insurmountable.
Better give Koan a raise or a medal. I don't know
Yeah.
what, but that was a spectacular support performance right there to keep Nacho alive. I don't know if you all saw it and counted it correctly, but I'm pretty sure it was a 1v5. Nacho was faced by 5 members of the enemy team, maybe it was 4, and Koan kept him alive through all of that damage.
I think he had the Ant Matrix in his face too. Like, I have no idea how Nacho stayed alive there.
Just kept on his feet, and it was beautiful play from the support line there. It's sometimes hard to recognize great support play, but that was pretty much it. As clear-cut as you're going to see. Now, the attack has to be a bit rapid here. They want a repeat of what just happened. Let Melon here on the Pharah, firing some rockets down onto the gate and really not finding anything for their trouble. And look at who it is, Doom Black on a flank again, and this has become a all too familiar sight whenever they're on the board, and, well, that sight is a little bit familiar as well. Vibin catches out the flank and brings it down immediately, and now things are starting to get a little bit weird. Because the tanks have actually fallen all the way back through the gate here. They're going to come back up on the high ground. Okanaz immediately getting pressured here. Okanaz tries to fall back, heads onto the point. Some shots going up there. Again, the attempted camp on the door from Let Melon, a really kind of inconsequential battle. Let Melon takes an arrow to the face and drops perilously low, but they will be okay. They win the duel against Rose, and now they're a little bit more free to operate. Really no hard counter existing for them. Bully Hunter doing a good job on the point, but again, Let Melon continuing to rain in death from above, just looking for a kill, can't quite find it. Down they go. Doom Black surging on. Doom Black with 2. And he might have died early on, but he's making his name felt right now. Doom Black going for yet another kill in the bank. It's just the Baptiste left, and Slow King will drop, and they will take here after a very long fight.
So it's going to be one of those Hanamura games, Korpek. It's going to be one of those. Neither team able to mount any sort of defense. So here we go now as the snowball begins. Rose made a swap onto a soldier, I think, to try and get back with the rest of his team faster. However, every other ultimate, especially if they manage to extend it for a little bit, will be available for Helpdesk Hogan. Starting with, that was a nice angle.
Oh, the bomb shatter comes out, but Slow King with the clutch immortality field. That's not going to stop Nacho, though. The man is hungry for vengeance, and Vibin takes out their nemesis, Doom Black, yet again. But once more from the high ground, Koan keeping their main tank alive through hell and high water. Look at him go. Somehow Nacho is still fighting long enough for them to get the beat off. Nacho takes down his opposite number in the form of Arsenic, is still going, will finally die. And they won't pick up a tick there yet. And this is just kind of ascending into chaos right now, dividing. But yeah, my lord.
The spawn advantage should eventually put this in favor of Bonkers. However, Rose has something to say about that. A double kill, taking out the Tracer and the McCree. The DPS from Helpdesk Hogan are absolutely massive. A tick has come across, and now Rose is absolutely unbothered in the back here. No one has bothered to look at this McCree. It's been about a 4K that turned this fight around. Are you kidding me? Are we seeing the full cap again?
They're still going. Rose got knocked into the pit, which might actually have been the worst thing that happened right there, because they weren't able to get the soldier back in the fight. It's just Nacho rolling around. Rose is still alive here. Finally does go down, dies to their own Helix rocket. But my God, Dividing, I turned that over to you because I thought that was done, and they just suddenly from the grave right there turned that into an 85% progress on the point.
The soldier flanks, they have been the death of everyone. They did, you know, Rose saw what Doom Black was doing on Blizzard World and was like, yo, I can do that too. It's just got around to the side. I'm pretty sure picked off 4. No one was even looking at him. And that allowed nearly another full cap coming through from Helpdesk Hogan's, which means now we're in a position, all right, 3 minutes on a clock. But that's not super unheard of to hold on Hanamura. I think Helpdesk Hogan have put themselves in a pretty decent position to potentially take us to our second map 5 of the night.
They definitely have. I mean, that was a very impressive performance there. That sudden surge at the end, so unexpected that they really turned kind of led into gold. Nacho has been playing very well this map too. This has been a much more confident map from him. I don't know necessarily what's changed. His supports are definitely giving him lots of love right here. We've seen that time and again, but just in general, there's much more kind of swagger and aggression to the playstyle that's really benefiting him at this point in time. We'll see if that can materialize. They're actually going to play back on the point here, I assume because of a potential sim teleport?
They might be looking for a sim teleport. They might just be looking to play a little more conservatively here, because they know that Let Melon does like his flying heroes on this map. So this gives Rose and Doomblack on the McCree and the Ash respectively a lot more chance to get the right sight lines. Has to go back and pick up his Mercy there, and very nearly gets punished for it by Doomblack, but just barely manages to get away.
Well, slow build to the attack, and Doomblack is literally looking for Let Melon. Let Melon finally got a bit of to play with there, and you'll see Doomblack does go down. Let Melon finishing off the hard counter with style. They'll lose Bully Hunter there as well, but Rose takes out the Echo. Unfortunately, the McCree can't lend their talents to the front line, and that's where things are going perilously, dangerously wrong. And it will be a very quick cap here, so 2 minutes about here for them to take 85% on the last point.
Yeah, a minute taken off the clock. It felt sort of like a foregone conclusion that that Bonkers would be able to take point A at least at some point in these 3 minutes. It comes down to if Helpdesk Hogan can hold on point B, which, as you remember, they couldn't last time. So there needs to be some adjustments here to take down Let Melon on this Echo Mercy, Vivin on this McCree, Arsenic, who is coming up on a Shatter. There's lots of tools here.
Arsenic just trying to brute force this, and unfortunately Vivin will die in the attempt. Arsenic does fall back. The Immortality Field has to be thrown out there just to give the tanks the opportunity to back up and maybe soft reset just a little bit. They don't have a ton of time to play with, so they will have to re-engage relatively soon, and well, they're taking their sweet time about it, dividing. They're not fussed by a clock.
Yeah, the soft reset is big for Helpdesk. At the start of this fight, the ult advantage was very much in favor of Bonkers. However, because of that pick that Doomblack got, now it's a little bit more even.
Key ripped out of the air by Rose. The Shatter to follow up. Great. Nacho does go down to it, but Bully Hunter making a stand right here behind this amplification matrix. Gets 2 kills on the Zenyatta, finally coming alive for the time on that hero. Vibin cover here does have a high noon. Look at that, trying to that shot, won't fight it. Doomblack, unfortunately for the attackers, that's Okanaz who gets taken down, and he's just going to go up here, and they're going to try and ferret this McCree out, and they don't even need to, dividing. He's already gone.
Now things are getting a little scary if you're Bonkers. You use quite a few ultimates in that fight to try and break through, but you were repelled, and now you're playing into the Shatter from Nacho, you're playing into the Trans, you're playing into the Tac Visor. This might be a problem here. Here comes Doomblack's Visor, and the Shatter is good too.
The Shatter and the Visor, Nacho sets him up, and Doomblack tries to knock him down. It wasn't quite as successful as the two of them would have liked, but they will keep the pressure on there. 30 seconds on the clock. Nacho absolutely needs to live here. The amplification matrix being invested almost solely to keep this tank alive and keep him playing in front of the amplification matrix on the other side, but he won't do it. It'll be Vibin from the top deck who gets that high noon in. Vibin falls back and cover here. 14 seconds left on the high ground is theirs. Arsenic has to come back all the way from spawn. Out comes the Dragon, thrown towards the left door, just trying to clear. And you'll see that effort from Coco Mate to just contest things out. Now Nacho is back on the point, and if they need a performance, they'll get it. Nobody touches, and Helpdesk Hogan pushes this onto him at 5.
Oh my goodness, the bomb from Coco Mate was perfectly timed. It was perfectly timed and perfectly placed. There was no way for anyone on Bonkers to contest the point unless they died to the bomb. They were not able to make those time calculations in the moment, and because of that, everyone, of course, hides to avoid the bomb, but that means that no one has touched the point. I think if we were to go back into the replay, I think you need to touch the point within 3 seconds of the end of the round to trigger overtime. I think that was about like half a second to be in time to not trigger overtime there. Beautiful stuff from Kokomate to bring us to map 5. We're having a good time here, Korvek.
Long day. Let's put it at that. These teams not giving up without a fight, but that's what we love to see. And another great shout out there, by the way, to Koan with I believe it was 39% of the teams healing on that particular map. So support players coming up big here. You saw Bully Hunter basically kill dead one of those last attacks that was coming out there as well. So credit where credit is due. The two of them playing very well for their respective squads. But it looks like our last map will be Busan. So a little bit of reverse symmetry from what we had in our first match of the day, starting out on Busan and going to Lijiang at the end. It's the other way around. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Like, I actually am legitimately curious because I just have no idea how it's going to go. Both of these teams have made attempts, right, at playing flying characters, which you can get some value out of on certain points on Busan. But all of their attempts at flyers have been not that effective, right? And they've usually fallen back on, well, hit scam play. That's been the big money maker here for these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, when it came to the last game, I kind of had an idea of what comps each team was better at, and which matchups would favor each team. This time, it's not really like that. Helpdesk Hogan. This has been a very momentum-based game. Teams tend to play similar comps, but neither one has much of an edge in either of them. It's mostly about momentum, and it's about the frontline battle.
You're right, and there are a handful of players who have kind of maintained consistent performance across all of these maps. Let Melon, Arsenic, we talked about Koan as well, they've all maintained a certain level, right? But the rest of these guys have and girls have kind of been, it's been a roller coaster in terms of performance, like up and down, down. Nacho has a great map and then he just kind of disappears, and then he has another spectacular map. So we are kind of left guessing. Is this going to be a great map for one of these teams, or is this going to be an absolute stinker for them? And it's sad that we kind of have to throw it back onto that, but it is definitely in keeping with how this is felt.
I mean, you look at these players on these teams, and you see so many different opportunities for individual pop-offs. Rose, Doomblacks, Nacho, Cone, on the other side, Vibin, Let Melon, Arsenic, Slow King. On any of these occasions, one of these players have been popping off individually during this game, and I think, honestly, this might come down to just who gets hot at the right time.
Well, now something interesting being shown here, though, Dividing. What do you make of this? A completely unseen lineup coming out on the side of Bonkers.
Yeah, this is an interesting sort of dive comp. I'm imagining that Let Melon is going to get behind on the Sombra, try and get a hack off onto maybe. Oh, okay, that sure does hurt. Go 5 in and Let Melon get. It did not work. I was gonna say he's gonna try and get the hack off on maybe the Reinhardt, and then maybe they would try and dive in, but losing both of your DPS early like that, yeah, that didn't work very well.
Well, it went very quickly from inventing the internet to inventing Frankenstein right there in terms of experimentation. So they might want to reconsider it for a brief second here as Let Melon gets shut down by Rose again. Rose just has the number of this Sombra, is not getting tricked at all, and will actually invest the high noon early on. It will come to much, but it does help them zone out. And oh my god, what a fielded shot there on the key. He just got wiped off the face of the earth by that.
Yeah, Rose, like I said, getting hot. Just right, beautiful high noon to zone out, and then good aggression to get the stagger picks. But, I mean, Rose had the high noon up when Vibin was only about 50% to his. That's just the McCree diff that's going on right now, doing a beautiful job dealing with these flankers.
Right here, Blacked Out, who easily 10 health. There's scraps here as Koan desperately tries to keep the team alive, but the Nano Snake is back on the scene and doing big work. He does get shattered on the reverse, but it doesn't let him stop him. He's a freight train of destruction there, and at 54%, he will lead to the charge and flipping the point.
And as we saw on Rialto, this is like the one thing that Helpdesk Hogan's never seems to have an answer for, is a nano-boosted Arsenic that's pressing W and left click. They're never able to take him down, and he gets multiple kills every time.
sometimes the simplest solutions are the most direct, right? Apply hammer directly to forehead. Rose here with the high noon, and that was a good high noon. Kind of caught him up in the drum junior room, and Nacho's going to push forward onto that. Does have a shatter, throws it down, and what a block by Arsenic. I don't know how he necessarily got by with that one. But unfortunately, it won't keep his team alive. The investment of the bomb almost feels excessive right there because they did such a good job just cleaning up in the fight.
Yeah, the aggression there was beautiful from the Helpdesk Hogan. They take the point back, and we're climbing up from 60% now. However, several ultimates are about to come online here for the Bonkers. We're going to have Bomb, we're going to have Beat, we're also going to have Nano coming out in just a second. And I mean, nanoing Arsenic has been basically like its own ultimate.
It has been. Here he goes again. They'll invest the beat this time to counteract it. They just don't want him destroying him anymore. The sound barrier coming out from the other side, though. Key trying to keep him up in the midst of all this. And what's this? A nano-boosted Nacho. The extra spicy cheese being applied right there. And it's to overcome the poisonous aura of Arsenic. And Rose gets the pick, gets the tactical crouch as well. And it looks like they will take stage 1 of this deciding map.
You know, you want to commit the beat for whatever to defend against whatever ult combo you think is most threatening to you, and I think smartly, Helpdesk Hogan decided that the biggest threat was in fact the nano boosted Arsenic, so nice job figuring to commit the beat to defend against that. And then, of course, when Key Gaming committed the beat to respond, there was then no response for Nacho to come in and nano boost hammer away, take a little page out of Arsenic's book. As now we head into Mecha Base, which I mean we're just going to be seeing a bunch of brawly goodness coming out here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the more traditional McCree brawl being shown there on the side of Bonkers. Meanwhile, on the other side, they are sticking with Black on the Tracer. It'll be interesting to see how these two styles kind of clash here. Arsenic really out in advance in terms of the attack. Tries to push them back towards their doors. That'll push a rotate around towards that high ground balcony position. And Arsenic's dead.
Yeah,
goodbye.
Rose has been popping off this map so far. A beautiful stun onto Arsenic, and I think there was probably a fan
beautiful 3K.
Four.
Rose. 4. Oh man.
I think I said the winner of this map is going to be whoever has the person who just starts popping off at the right time, and unless something changes in the next couple minutes, that person is Rose. Absolutely dominant McCree play so far.
Rose has channeled their energy into this, but that's a good wall coming up right there. Oh, it keeps him alive! It does nano boost! The tables are turned, and Coco Bate playing on the back of this angry Reinhardt manages to clean up some kills, and once more, the support play from Khan has been beyond spectacular tonight.
That was the tiniest little slit between like the May wall and the regular wall. And he manages to fit a Bionade through that, and then just so many shots. Nacho shouldn't be alive, but here he is getting a nice shatter, and Arsenic is down again.
There he throws the shatter. Arsenic dies. It's just the cleanup phase out for these two teams. The high dude coming out from below, vibing. Well, he's vibing right there. He gets 3, but it feels like the last gasp of a dying man right there as Rose just hammers him down. And there's a little bit of a fight still going on here. Maybe they'll be able to turn this because Rose is all alone on the point. And at the end of the day, it seems like Vibin's high noon maybe, just maybe, turn this fight in favor of his team. I say that though, and it's Doomblak back on the point, closing it down, holding on to it the entire time. It has been ticking up. The high coming in here for Doomblak. Goes in, throws the pulse bomb stick in there as well. The shatter coming out. Nacho does go down. Doomblak finally meets their doom, but both support ults committed here. And Nacho giving Arsenic a taste of their own medicine and charging into the back line. Still has the shatter in the pocket if he chooses to use it. He'll boil back onto the point the entire time. Rose is the Grim Reaper, and that's how they'll close it out at the end of this insane match. Crazy final fight on Busan for them to take the win.
That was super that was a super long fight to end it, first of all. I think, honestly, it was a super flashy play coming out from Vibin, that 3K high noon. That, I think, is probably what did them in. They lost the fight other than that high noon, but when that flashy play came out, obviously, I think everyone on Bonkers was screaming, winnable, 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 and they started just running in, trying to get a stagger fight to kill everyone off the point. But the problem is, the longer that stagger fight went on, the better it was for Helpdesk Hogan, because their percentage was continuing to tick up and up and up. I think if they had just taken the loss and was able to potentially get a full regroup, then I think there was a better chance of them being able to potentially take the point back. But as it is, a 100-0 on Mecha base is what is going to finally end today's matches. Helpdesk Hogan with the 3-2 victory over Bonkers. What a game, though.
What a game indeed, and what a series of matches it has been. That's Helpdesk Hogan winning 3-2 over SH Bonkers. Thank you so much for joining us today and watching this production of Get Good NA Season 7. We hope you enjoyed these matches. There is more Get Good action to come on Sunday. You can see some EU action at 4:30 p.m. UTC, and you can see some more NA action over at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, all here on the ELO Held channels. Now, I've been Corbeck, joined by Dividing. Thank you so much to our production staff, DeLuca and Myth, for carrying us through that. And from all of us here at Get Good, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye!